Now we'll segue over to our buddy Chris Plumlee here. Chris is the Chris is the CEO, president. I don't know if are you the founder also?
Co-founder, yes, sir.
Co-founder also. Man, he's got all the hats. Elevate Strategy Group. Chris is going to talk to us today about how you build a successful sales organization. Chris, start us off with talking about how do you get to this point? How do you become this genius that you are?
I think genius might be a little hyperbole, but I'll take it nonetheless. Ed, thanks for allowing me to be with you this afternoon. It's a real pleasure. So I started off at Bank of America. I was a branch manager at 23.
I won't hold that against you.
Ultimately wanted to get into more of a pure sales play, so went to Kodak and subsequently went to organizations like Dell, HP, Pitney Bowes. I was always vice president of sales, and I had Fortune 1000 accounts for North America. So just very steep in intellectual capital around how do you source, train, lead, grow, and develop a high-performing sales team. I was able to do that over the course of about 25 years of my career working in corporate America. And then about 5 years ago, we went out and launched our own company, Elevate Strategy Group.
Chris, that's pretty much the holy grail of moving any product. The ultimate thing, or the most difficult thing that you find is finding the right people to fit that point or that place, because not everybody can sell, right?
Correct.
Not everybody can sell. So, as a person who specializes in building these types of successful organizations, how do you find people, and how do you use what metrics you use to describe a person or find that person that fits the perfect salesperson?
Well, there's two distinct things, Ed. A lot of companies today, a lot of our partners looking for true hunters that can go out and secure net new business. And what we found is the best predictor of future success is past success. So we certainly want to look for folks that have done it before, have a very proven track record of success going out and securing net new logos. As far as growing organically existing accounts, we really look for people that are engaging, that keep the client's needs at first and foremost, have a high degree of trust, reliability, those types of things, and we can teach them the rest. So I would say the hunter is the most difficult resource to find right now, and that's why a lot of clients partner with us to make sure that they're vetting the proper folks. As you and I talked about, a very significant part of our practice, people partner with us, and we call it sales as a service. They'll contract with us to open doors for them because we have a proven track record of getting to the C-suite and having a business conversation about how we can help them with some of the business problems that they're experiencing today.
Well, that's really kind of a multi-channel thing when you think about it. If you think about the fact that not only are you have the ability to find the talent that can help move the ball down the court as far as your organization is concerned, but you can also actually do that yourself too.
Yes, sir. That's exactly correct. And again, our clients have found that they don't have a difficult time securing talent as far as CRMs, customer relationship managers. Once you give them something, they can grow it. But as far as going out and getting net new logos, that's where they've really been challenged. So they'll partner with us. And our commitment is, obviously, we've got deep relationships within the Metroplex. We've been doing this for a long time, me and my partners, so we can definitely get the doors open, get to the right level, and have a strategic business conversation.
Chris, one of our sponsors is a CRM manager, actually has a groundbreaking technology that does some interesting things. The one thing that's interesting about CRM is the fact that you can't manage a relationship if you have none. How do you teach people to go out and get those relationships?
Well, the first thing that we have to help folks understand is at the end of the day, every client is looking to solve a business problem. And so if you can get to the right level, have a conversation with them, really understand what pain they're experiencing today and how your widget, service, software solution can help them resolve that, you're going to be very highly successful. What we found, Ed, quite candidly, is the fact that, unfortunately, and I was a trainer in my early career, we spend so much time teaching folks what's so great about our particular widget, so they show up on someone's doorstep and all they talk about ad nauseum is what a great widget that I have and how magical it is and all these types of things. But it doesn't relate back to the client, and there's no connection there because they don't understand how it's going to help them solve a business problem. So that's really the key differentiator is you got to understand what pain they're experiencing, what business problem that they have today, and how can your solution help them resolve that.
Me being in the securities industry and selling something that's quote-unquote intangible for the most part throughout my entire career, one of the things I would do when I would meet new clients was I never really talked about what it was that I did for them. What I tried to do is go in and meet with them and meet them at wherever they were and get them to tell me stories about where they wanted to go. Then I could map out a strategy to do that. Is that something you would deem to be important with the type of people you bring in the organization?
Without a question. It's critically important to, we talk a lot about the 80-20 rule. You want to go in and ask high-gain questions and sit back and take copious notes. Really understand kind of where they are today, where they're trying to get to in the future, the next 18 to 24 months, and how your solution can help them. Unfortunately, time and time again, we go out with our clients and we see that the 80-20 rule has been reversed. They're talking 80% of the time and only allowing the client to talk 20% of the time. What we tell folks all the time is when you go into the meeting, you know what you know. Your goal is to leave knowing what they know, and that's really where the magic starts to happen. So that's critically important.
My goal was always to get to know the person. I have one of the books I've written, which I'll publish soon. It's called Lessons from the Shampoo Chair. My mother was I know it sounds funny, but it's weird. My mother was a hairdresser for years, and the things you learn from people and the trust you can build with people were some of the techniques that she had in talking to people were amazing to watch in real time. And I think the big part of the sales process is building that trust, getting people to understand that you're on their side, you're not an adversary, and you're not, quote unquote, trying to sell them. In lieu of it, you're trying to, as you said, solve a problem for them. So we're going to take a break, but on the other side of this break, you mentioned that you have a lot of passion about this process. We're going to dig into that, and we're going to take some time to understand that and have you give us that passion or show it to us. So we'll be right back after this break with Chris Plumlee, president of Elevate Strategy Group. This section of the market, this section of the conversation is brought to you by Lots of Yachts. Welcome back to CEO Money. It's Ed Baxter sitting in for Michael Yorber. We're talking with Christopher Plumlee, president of Elevate Strategy Group. When we went back to the break there, we talked a little bit about the quote-unquote passion that's needed to be a great salesperson and sales organization. Give us some color on how you describe that and some things about yourself when you think about your own passion.
Yeah, I just wanted to touch on briefly one thing that you said before the break, Ed, with regards to what you learned from your grandmother. At the end of the day, people partner with people they know, like, trust, and respect. That's critically important. We hear that a lot, and it's kind of a hackneyed cliche, but it's certainly very true. So for me, I love helping people, and I'm just curious by nature. I read 3 newspapers a day. I probably read about 5 magazines a day. So irrespective of what your passion is, I may not be able to talk about it at a granular level like you, but I can at least hold a conversation with you.
That's always good to do.
Yeah, so when I meet people, wherever they are, whatever their passion is, whatever their focus is, I can at least hold a conversation with them. And so I just get to know people. I've been blessed to sit on 3 different boards. As you know, we have an African American Executive Networking Forum, so I've been able to meet a lot of people through that. At the end of the day, I'm always trying to figure out how can I help people, how can I bring significant value. We talk about making deposits into a relationship. So what I found is I always want to make at least 5 to 7 deposits into a relationship before I take anything out of it. And so I think people know that my fundamental focus is how can I help you be more successful. And I'll ask clients that all the time.
Yeah, you do that all the time at the forum too. It's amazing to watch.
Yeah, exactly right. So once people understand that I'm here to help you, I want to learn more about you, how can I help you solve business problems, it's amazing what happens because people just reach out to me constantly about different solutions, different resources, different opportunities, just because they know that first and foremost, I'm going to keep their needs as a priority.
Christopher, obviously, you're very accomplished what you do. When you think about the process of sales, and in today's world, when all the different disruptive methods where people do sales, how important is it to be a thought leader in the sales area to make sure that you're on top of all the different new trends that you can bring, as you mentioned before, to the C-suite to make them more successful?
That's powerful, Ed, and very salient. I think at the end of the day, leaders have so much stuff going on today, and if you show up with, we can do what the other guy's doing, it's going to be a very, very short meeting and an abject waste of their time. So fundamentally, we talked about it earlier, I've got to really roll up my sleeves and get immersed in your business to understand kind of where you guys are, where you're going, what the competition, what they're doing, what that landscape looks like, and then I can bring you solutions that can really be game changers and really innovative and out of the box, those types of things. So we get meetings all the time because people know when we show up, we're going to bring something that's new, that's innovative, something they probably haven't seen before, and that's what we're trying to do all the time is establish that significant value with all of our partners.
When you establish those partners, those partnerships with all those new people, and they look at Elevate Strategy Group, they see you. when you walk into the room, what do you want them to think about the differentiation? I can say that word that you bring to the table, and helping them and think and know that you can take that business to the next level.
Yeah, Ed, 95% of our business comes from referrals. So when we walk into a meeting, most of the people know that we've got incredible credibility. We've done this before for somebody that they know, like, and trust and respect. So it's more of a conversation around how can you help us? We understand that you guys have credibility in this space, but how can you help us? So I think what I want people to understand is at the end of the day, we've done our homework. We understand some of the things that you guys are going through. We have a very firm grasp on the competitive landscape, and we're about to share some things with you over the course of the next 35, 45 minutes that could really move the needle for you and your organization. And like I said, that's really where the magic starts to happen.
How hard is it to communicate that? Because your other guys coming into the office too, telling them what they can do, how they can move the needle. What is it that you think makes Elevate different when it comes to proving that as you talk to someone in the C-suite?
I think three things. One is, like I said, the relationship. 95% of our business comes from a referral, so people already know that we're credible. That's number one. Number two is we've done our homework. So we're not walking and asking a lot of questions that we could have already done the research on. So we've probably talked to 5, 7, 9 people within your organization to understand some of the pain and some of the challenges, obstacles, impediments that you're facing today. Number three, we always keep the spotlight on our client. So we're always looking for a way to bring value. What we tell our clients all the time, I think they would amplify this, is the fact that we're going to bring more to the table than what you're paying us for. And that's really powerful. And so when we sit down and do our quarterly reviews with our client, we ask them that question at the end is, how are we doing for you? Ultimately our goal, Ed, is to be their best strategic business partner. I laughed the other day because one of our clients said, hey, you're the best vendor that we have. And I took umbrage with that. I said, we're not a vendor. A vendor is reactive. A vendor is when you call them, they're here for you. I said, we're much more of a strategic business partner. And they kind of laughed and said, you know what, you're right. And that was really compelling for us to hear that we're not a vendor. We want to be so much more for our partners.
That's definitely a differentiator. Christopher, you've worked for some of the biggest companies in the United States. We won't necessarily name all 72 of them, but
it's only 70. Ed.
What we'll do is that when you think about the experiences you've had, we got about a minute or so left here. When you think about the experiences you've had with regard to those corporations, what do you think they brought to the table in helping you form the person that you are today?
That's a great question. I would say Kodak was probably the best company I've ever worked for as far as training and how you treat customers, how you treat employees. Phenomenal, world class. I won't put names on this. Certainly don't want to disparage in this holiday season. But the other companies, quite candidly, they were so big that we lost sight of the fact that at the end of the day, we're trying to help take care of customers. So we got caught up in bureaucracy and red tape and conference call after conference call. And I really lost, because I love being out in the field, touching clients, understanding what they're paying, what their needs are, and helping address those. And when there was an opportunity to, hang our own shingle and go out on our own, that's really what led me to do that. That's really where I want to spend the preponderance of my time. And as a president of our company, it affords me an opportunity to do that.
Perfect. Christopher, we're out of time. I want to thank you for joining me today. I really appreciate the insights you've given me from a sales standpoint. Hopefully I can continue learning from you and understanding how you do things, and we can also collaborate going forward in the future. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for it. For your time, very much appreciate it, and hope you and your millions of listeners enjoy a very joyous and blessed holiday season.
Thank you very much. Chris, how is it that when you think about Elevate and you think about the name Elevate, do you see it as your goal to elevate?
That's a great question.
And it sounds weird, but a lot of times you think about the name of a company, you're obviously looking at a situation where the name can mean a whole lot about exactly what they're trying to accomplish.
Yeah, okay. We were very purposeful in selecting that name, Elevate, and on our website and on our business cards, we elevate people, performance, and profit. So understanding that if you have the right people in place and you help them get to the next level, they're going to have spectacular performance and profits will flow from that. So we were very purposeful and mindful when we selected Elevate as the name of our organization.
Well, you've obviously elevated me, to put it lightly. Thank you again, and sorry for the impromptu there, but